Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Chelsea Explained, and this is your match preview for tomorrow's game where we are facing our local rivalries in Fulham. And I think Fulham will be a similar, if not a slightly more difficult opponent than Everton. We know what Everton was all about under Sean Dyche, being that low block and compact and defend their own box with everything they got. I feel like Fulham is a side that is even more fluid and flexible in their style of play. They can not only sit back like Everton, but they can also press you high up in the pitch. And I think their movement in the final third is also more fluid, which will be more difficult to defend against. Another thing that really scares me of Fulham is the quick transitions. One of our biggest weaknesses when it comes to defending teams that is really good at going on fast direct counterattacks, which I have mentioned in so many match previews this season. So that is something we need to be aware of, and I think Fulham is also a team that is very good at delivering crosses inside the box. And as I talked about in my match preview after Everton, we need to improve defending in the wide area so we can stop the opponents from delivering accurate crosses to their attackers. And we cannot play like we did in the last game. First of all, Maresca needs to improve his and team's mentality. A sort of Chelsea mentality is that you're gonna go into every game and win no matter what. And if you draw a game, if you lose a game, you should not show that you're content with it. You should show that you want to do better next time and that we need to win the next game. Maresca came out and mentioned that he was pretty happy with the draw, and it felt like he played for a draw against Everton. Some fans were also kinda okay with that draw. Me, I always want my team to go for a victory, no matter how difficult the challenge is. That Maresca came out and said that he was happy with the draw is unacceptable for me. For me, he has done really well this season, but I don't want to hear that sort of mentality that you're accepting a draw. Because if you're accepting a draw, then the players might look at it that, I guess it was okay then. And then they can get complacent. Maybe now against Fulham they will get complacent and we could slip up and lose further points. Don't want to see that again. So the mentality needs to improve and we need to bounce back immediately and get a victory against Fulham. Get then into my predicted lineup. We continue with Sanchez in goal, who's doing well in terms of his shot stopping and commanding the area. He's making some very crucial saves to help us stay in the game against Everton and not concede. In the back line, I want to continue with Gusto, but this time I want him to be on the right side of the defense and not the left side, and I do not want him to attack the half space as an offensive player because that limits our attacking fluidity and threat. Tosin and Cole will continue as well. I thought Tosin was superb against Everton. He had a very good game and I want that to continue. And Cucurella comes back into the starting 11 after being suspended. It's another thing we need to of course improve upon, which I'm stressing this season, and that is our discipline. We need to stop getting unnecessary yellow cards. No matter how frustrated or triggered you get there, you need to control yourself and put the team first. Cucurella and other players in this team needs to stop talking to the opponents and to the referee and focus on the next action. Because if we're losing players because of that and they're getting suspended, then we're not going to have our full strength in the starting 11. Very important piece in Maresca's system. Some more supporter role, that assisting the midfield, that assisting the attackers, and he's helping out massively defensively. In the pivot, we continue of course with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. And we'll see if it's either Gusto or Cucurella stepping in and making that pivot with Caicedo as my front four. I would continue with Palmer as a number 10. He has been outmarked for many games now. The opponent seems to have found a way how they can limit his threat and effectiveness in the game. And I think it's both up to Maresca and Palmer to find solutions how they can get Palmer more into the game and how they can get him into more dangerous areas in the final third. I would also like to continue with Neto, just that I would move him to the left hand side now, and I will actually rest Sancho a little bit. And I think Neto and Enzo could have a better chemistry with each other, because Enzo could he could play those through balls to Neto, who attacks behind the back line. Sancho isn't that fast. He's more of a guy that's gonna cut inside, but I think Neto can both cut inside here and go on the outside of the opponent and behind the back line. So I think Neto and Enzo will actually add a bit more balance and threat on the left hand side. I'm gonna keep an eye on that and see if that actually is happening against Fulham. Madueke comes into the starting 11 for me, because Fulham can press high up on the pitch, and if we manage to pass through their press, we're gonna have tons of space to play passes into. And Madueke is really good when the opposition line is higher up on the field, and he can attack the space behind or out wide. So Madueke comes in for me, and Jackson continues up front. I would like Maresca to make early substitutions in case players is not performing. It doesn't matter for me, to be honest, if it is Palmer, Madueke, Neto and Jackson, or anyone else in this team. If they're not performing, I think we should rotate and bring on some of our players on the bench, because we got some serious quality there. Another thing I would like to mention is that when a player is not performing well, it doesn't mean the player is bad. It can also mean that the opponents have found a solution to stop him, and Maresca doesn't know how to change things around, so we get more out of that player in the game, or that the player is simply out of form. Or it can just be that they're not suiting the role or the tactic whatsoever. Palmer has dropped a little bit in performance simply because he's getting outmarked of the game, and opponents is getting stuck in and aggressive on him. And Maresca needs to find a solution, and Palmer as well, as I mentioned, how they're gonna get him into more dangerous areas and be a bit more unpredictable throughout the game, so the opponents has to keep guessing. Maybe we could give him a free role. That could potentially help him. I'm gonna be completely honest. I am a bit afraid of Fulham. They're playing good this season, and I think they will be a slightly better opponent than Everton. The way they're playing, the way they counterattack opponents, the way they're pressing, I think it's going to be a very difficult and tight game. I think we'll come out and win towards the end. So I'm gonna guess we're winning 2-1. If you're brand new here, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my page, hit that notification bell down below so you never miss when the content drops, and I see you for the match review after the game. CFCexplained is out.